everyone, it's Colette from the Sacred Rose Temple. I'm going to share with you some information about my new course that's coming up on the 13th of this month, the Apocalyptic Mother. There's been much happening for me for many years with regards to what we're encountering now. In fact, for the past 5 years, I've been taking steps, readying for this time as much as we can, as much as we can see, as much as we know. So it's revealing itself to us every day. I've been aware of the yogas and the Kali Yoga that we're in at the moment since the days I started as a yoga teacher and a yogi, and knowing that we were coming into, and would be coming into, a completely transformative time. And so the Apocalyptic Mother is a way that I can convey what my visionary self, my clairvoyant self, has been seeing and documenting and dealing with in a very safe container. The clairvoyant element of my work, I always try to keep very grounded. I don't share a lot. Those of you that know mysticism know that when we work with certain aspects of mysticism, it's always meant to be very, very sacred and kept sacred, and I do try to uphold that. So the Apocalyptic Mother for me is very challenging. It's going to take me out of my own comfort zone because I'm going to be sharing deep knowings, deep visions. I'm going to put my neck on the line. I have known certain things have been coming, and people who work with me, I often share my site with. But I've held it from mainstream purely because I've been scared. If I share the things that I know, I will be ridiculed, I will be shamed. And for me, those days are gone now. I'm no longer holding back. Everything that I envisaged and imagined and knew is coming to light. So this is a wake-up call for me too. The Apocalyptic Mother came to me in a dream. I had a dream where I entered a cave and there was a Christed being within the cave. This has happened before for me. There have been a Mother Mary or a Black Madonna in there, and she's just given me a very short message. This time, this woman wasn't Mary and she wasn't the Black Madonna, but she felt like both. There was a chaos around her that I knew didn't belong to her, but belonged to me and the world and the whole of the world. There was an opening between heaven and an opening between the lower earth, the underworld. And I was sat in between it on my knees, looking at her, waiting for this message. Only the message wasn't verbal. The message was completely energetic, completely in feeling. I came out of the dream. I was very baffled. I was very upset, disturbed, at peace, settled, all the polarities completely. And so I took the dream into a meditation, and I sat with the energy of this mother that had came to me. And I got the words Apocalyptic Mother. That was it. And then I received the transmission as I do in my voyance. It comes through as a seed and it begins to come through my body. And this is when I write or I deliver a transmission or a teaching. And this was shown to me in a way that she said, be very, very mindful of how you deliver this. Keep a sacred container, invite people into that container, exchanging energy. And so I opened up immediately the Apocalyptic Mother. Within the next hour, I'd known she'd given me a visual. I used the visual for the advert. It's what you will see in the advert. And much came to me as I began to open up the portal for you all. So the Apocalyptic Mother is challenging for you and will be challenging for me to deliver it. I have a certain set of things I was instructed to deliver to you all, and this will come over in an hour transmission. So a transmission in its true essence that's been handed down through a lineage of teachers. And I know there's a lot of people out there saying they're doing transmissions and it's a receiving, but there is a sacred lineage of transmissions and teachers who deliver oral transmissions. When you receive an oral transmission that is true from a master, it will be completely psycho-activating in that you receive it in your body. There will be some kind of physical, emotional, energetic response to that transmission, and it will create a motion of movement within your life. So when I do a transmission, I always say to people, please be aware that the next 24 hours after it are still in the energy of it. You're still receiving it, and you need to be that receptor to keep feeling and opening and moving and doing what the transmission is trying to do to you, trying to show you on a very personal level. So the transmission that I'm giving is going to be probably one of the most potent transmissions I've ever given. Those people that are going to come and do this are ready to receive it. They will have done some work before. They will know how to ground themselves in their body. They will know how to deal with the emotions that come up from receiving such potent information. And the information that comes through is not mine. It is unique to you if you step in to this transformative container. I am going to deliver that via Zoom, and it will be recorded and put into our sealed, private, sacred container. In this container, I will be posting other information too, information that I have been shown to share with you all. When I received a transmission similar to this from one of my teachers, and that's Andrew Harvey, I was sent into a massive space of chaos. And I was currently, at that time, I was nomadic. I was living in Borneo, and I had come to this course with Carolyn Mason, Andrew Harvey, to work with them, and not knowing why. I'd left the jungle, and I'd had this crazy synchronistic journey from the depth of the jungle to Paris airport that took 3 days, landed me there on the exact day the course started, cost me about £300 to get the flights. Everything just crazily synced in. And I ended up being in a very safe and supported space with Andrew, whose work I'd done before, and with my 13-year-old son, who was not 13 at the time, let me see, maybe 11, 10, 11. And Andrew said to me, Colette, I'm going to deliver a really radical, apocalyptic type of transmission. He didn't use the word apocalyptic. And I'm worried about Casper, not worried but concerned, is this okay? And Casper was with me, and I was like, yeah, he's here, you know, I can hold his space. So Andrew delivered a very intense transmission that entered my body on so many levels that I, after it, put Casper to bed, and my friend was in a room with us, and she stayed. She received the transmission too, and she stayed. Casper slept, and then I left the hotel room, left them there. And I wandered the street of Chartres till about 4 o'clock in the, maybe later, 6 a.m. in the morning. I was in this massive body deconstruction and terror and realization and all of this mind stuff that was leaving, and all I can describe it as was a completely mystical experience in the way that a transmission should be delivered to the body. I then decided the next day that the nomadic life was stopping. It stopped that day, stopped. I was going to seek what I'd always been seeking, and that was to open a retreat centre. And I'd been searching the world for it. I travelled the world looking for a retreat centre. Something told me it was there. Something told me it was France. And so lots of other stuff happened. We had a whole initiation with the Black Madonna, the Black Mother that lives in the crypt at Chartres. And I received some messages there about staying in Chartres and a whole load of other stuff that I don't want to go into. But I ended up going back to the UK, and I was like, how do I unchain myself? How do I gather everything I need to do this retreat? And I bought a caravan. I lived in the caravan in England to be with Casper for some time and to support him. And then I said, right, I've got to leave to go France. Chaos already had begun to ensue. I was living in a caravan in England. It was minus 10 degrees. I was learning to be a mystic that lived in a caravan, and that brought up its own set of challenges, and a mother to a son who was going to return to education at that point after being homeschooled by me. I decided that the travel to France needed to happen sooner rather than later, and off I went. And this was a whole new experience for me. I am not a caravan driver, and so I had to face fears of towing a 2-ton caravan all the way through the UK and then over to France. And then I started to search for the land, and it was chaotic, as you can imagine. We're a family living in a caravan. I adopted a dog and met somebody, and yeah, it was a crazy time. And I know chaos. I know when chaos happens, when it feels like the rug has been torn from underneath you. If you know what to do with chaos, if you know how to move in chaos, then transmutation, transformation can happen. So this transformation, chaotic time for me, I allowed it to take me where it needed to take me, and I got rid of all the ideas that were up here. This is the land I'm going to buy, and this is what I'm going to do, blah, 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 blah. And I allowed myself to be shown. And I knew that meant being sovereign, financially free, no mortgage, no owing anyone. And I knew it meant getting rid of the way life had been for me. So becoming off grid, being totally, and that was at the core of that chaos, self-sufficient, self-sovereign, spiritual, devoted to God and this mission inside of me to bring that to other people, and to be hardcore in my work, in my writing, and to roll up my sleeves and put in the hard work. So that happened and is still happening. I'm still in transmutation. I'm still trying to do everything I can here to create what's needed to be created. And I am now being challenged with a whole new set of transformation, because what I imagined might be here is now changing again. So the Apocalyptic Mother is that chaos. She is the chaos. She's saying, get rid of it. Get rid of it. That's her response. She's fighting the darkness with us. We all know there's a dark movement that's happening around us at the moment. Anyone who's remotely awake is starting to see that there are darker forces working with us at the moment. They want to own all of us. This movement is about taking away your freedom of speech and your freedom of choice. We are in the time now where we have always had a freedom of choice. God gives us free will choice. Even our creator, our maker, gives us free will choice. And that free will choice is not always for the greater good. It's very rarely for the greater good. It has become a completely desiring free will choice. We desire in all manners. We desire matter, we desire things, and we desire it easily. We want it easy. And this is born from those parts of the psyche, parts of our psychology that is buried within shadow itself. So all we're seeing outside of there is a manifestation of the dark attributes of us as a human being. We feed from the monster, and we feed the monster. And this time is about you recognizing where you're taking from the monster, where you're wanting things, where you're willing to sell your soul for those things, get in debt, live beyond your means. All of those places feed that monster. And so we need to recognize our own part in feeding the beast. And that's what this is about. We feed the beast, and the more free will choice is taken from us. And that's what's happened now. We've fed it so much. We've taken from it so much. People think things are for free. They actually think that those benefits or those payments are for free. And they're not. They come at high cost, high cost. So when you become more sovereign, you stop looking outside of you to be given things. You create that yourself. And I know people that I work with that who are completely sovereign. No matter what goes down on this planet, it will not affect their food, it will not affect their money, it will not affect anything, because they're self-sovereign. And that's where we need to be. And that's what's trying to be stopped in this world. So think about what is out there at the moment and what it's trying to do. It's trying to remove freedom of choice and freedom of speech. And so I posted this morning, let's not hate on one another for things that we don't agree with. Let's bring that into an open discussion. I don't agree with what you're saying. It doesn't make you right, and it doesn't make the other person wrong, and vice versa. There's only one person, and it's not a person, that knows what's right and wrong, and that's our Creator, that's the Beloved. So we have an opinion, and we must remember that we have an opinion. We have our own maybe set of beliefs or knowing, and we may be trying to get that across to other people, and that's fine. You have every right to do that. And what we must stop doing, and I do it, I realise I do it, is shutting people down, saying, no, you're not right. But allowing people to express and challenging that. We have lost the ability to challenge each other, to say, I'm going to challenge that set of beliefs. What about this? And then you listen to the other person, and then you challenge it. And this is the dance that we need to start to do, because when you start to tell somebody, and I will hold my hands up and I have done this, you can't say that, you can't do that. You bring in that energy of trying to take away that person's free will choice, that voice of theirs. By all means, challenge it if that's what you feel to do, or show your version of what you believe. But don't tell them that they can't. Don't tell them that they can't. We are in an apocalypse. We are in a field of transmutation. We are trying to, and Beloved and God and the dark forces are trying to change what's happening in this world, and the only place for us to sit in is the self, the true self, and our connection to the divine. I studied the scriptures of many lineages over the years, and everyone that prophesizes this time, and I like to call it the Kali Yuga, because the Hindu philosophy really details this. And I'll be sharing the Kali Yuga in my group as well. All information on this I will be sharing in the Apocalyptic Mother. The Kali Yuga depicts this time as a time that we go against each other as human beings in the fight to keep ourselves valid. It also depicts that we will, at this time, be, as a species, the furthest removed from spirit, from God, from connection than we've ever been, ever. So it's about coming back to spirit self-connection, closing your eyes, coming from the outside world to the inside world, and feeling yourself and the true nature of yourself, both good and bad. And from that place, trying to make changes on the outside of you. So we've got to go in and down to come out and up. That's how this works. And also by challenging those darker behaviors, the wants and the desires, we all have them. And to trying to find your connection again to your creator, to what is spirit and what is deeply feeling and what makes you feel connected. And this comes from me, who many moons ago would call myself an atheist or anti-God or whatever. I was lost at those times, and I've been many things. I've been Hindu and following Hindu scriptures and Christianity and Buddhism. I've looked at it all. I've not got to the arrival place that I'm at the moment through closing my eyes to it all. I've been open and I've been led by what's in here, what I've always felt in here. So the Apocalyptic Mother that I am opening will share all of this information. You will get the transmission, and you will also get a one-to-one with me. I feel that this kind of nature of sharing needs support. So I will appoint an hour session for you that will involve many elements, energy work, some clairvoyance, and also some therapy work, because I'm trained in mind-body therapy. So I'll be working with you on a therapeutic level too. And that's part of the package of the Apocalyptic Mother. There are already people in that group. There's only a couple of split spaces left. I only like to work with small groups because I can work with them intently. So if you feel that this is for you, please message me as soon as possible. I am also looking for specific people. This is not for everyone, this course, because of its nature. So if you've done some inner work before and you are able to kind of self-regulate, I'm there to help with the regulation, but you need to have done some emotional, spiritual work to come into the container. And so we will speak anyway if you direct message me or send me a message as to whether this is suitable for you. If you want to delve into spiritual work and you're listening to this and you're saying, well, I haven't really done any inner work, but I want to, I'll also offer some sessions to people to help them kind of find what's working for them and what's good for them and where they need to go next. And that might just be a free 15-minute chat. I'm quite happy to do that with anybody. I'm also offering free 30-minute therapy sessions for those of you who are in financial hardship, who are struggling at this time. And then those of you who are able to support yourselves, I'm offering 1 hour mind-body therapy sessions and spiritual guidance. So however you've arrived here and for whatever reason you're watching this video, if you feel encouraged or inspired, then please do reach out. I'm so happy to be alive in this time and also deeply, challenged by it too. But I know that each and every one of us here has been incarnated at this time for a reason. You're not exclusive and you're very much part of what's needed on this planet at this time. So know that. So bye for now. I will leave all the links for the Apocalyptic Mother below, and I hope to hear from you all soon. Take care of yourselves, love one another, listen to one another, and we can get through this. Amen.